Hey everyone, I wanted to quickly talk about confidence. How can you build confidence? As an artist making my work public to more than 40 million people, I've recognized that, every time you make something public, every time you share something with people, there are always different types of feedback that you receive back. Sometimes, there's a lot of love, a lot of appreciation from all of you, and I truly appreciate that. A lot of acceptance and awe for beautiful work. But then from the other side, you experience many critics and you experience many dark opinions and sometimes, these negative ideas and perceptions like why you shouldn't do it and things like that. When I had my first art exhibition, one day an old guy came into the exhibition, into the room, and he said, "Oh, you're playing with a dangerous thing here," as he observed my painting. So sometimes you don't know what to think when you hear things like that, and you need to meditate on it and find clarity and meaning in this kind of words. And it can mess with our confidence. So I wanted to make this video as a message or encouragement how our confidence actually works and what is it, because many of you are trying to put something out and to build something out of your life, or maybe just as a character you want to work on something that matters to you, something that is important to you, and you're scared of different opinions and you're scared that people will be laughing at you, or what people will say to you, or how people will receive your messages or your work if you're an artist, your music, your paintings, your whatever you're producing. So I've gained a lot of experiences as receiving different types of feedback. So firstly, I've recognized that confidence is working the same as any muscle. So for any muscle, firstly, you need to work it out. You need to challenge it. And you challenge it the way that you push something that is hard until it becomes easy. Then it needs the right nutrition, and then it needs the right amount of rest. And that's kind of it. And repetition is like a chaining connection that makes the flow going. So when it comes to confidence, then we need to do what we don't feel confident about doing, and that's how we become more confident. So in other words, it means that if you're scared of making public speech, making public speeches will make you more confident in making public speeches. Like talking in front of the camera will make you more confident about talking in front of the camera. And if you're an artist making paintings, for example, sharing your art with others and hearing or at least exposing your work to the public will make you more confident about it. But the fundamental knowing always needs to be you're doing it for yourself. You're doing it for yourself because every time we're expressing ourselves, we're learning more about ourselves. That's something I've learned in my life, because if we're hearing what other people are saying to us about ourselves, it may mess with our own understanding of ourselves. And each of us is on a mission of a self-research so we can work on self-expression. Which means that we need to understand ourselves to such a degree that we can actually talk about something, that we can actually say something that is not just what we've heard, but is actually our own idea, our own look on life, our own picture of how we are experiencing life, our own unique expression of how we feel about life. And to gain that, we need to build a certain discipline in deep and clear thinking, which is quite a philosophical practice that needs to be trained. And when this becomes a project of our lives, like discipline of deep and clear thinking, like self-reflection and meditation and conversations, talking about how you feel, talking about what you're thinking about, or writing down about it, you will recognize that you're forming new levels of awareness around yourself. And when this awareness is expanding, you're recognizing that other opinions don't matter as much as your own opinion about yourself and about your life matters. And this your opinion then needs to be challenged by others so it can expand. Like, for example, if you have an idea of how this universe works, but this idea is quite limited, as you may be young or you have certain challenges in your life and you don't know how to deal with them, it means that your idea about how the universe works is quite limited. But at the same time, you're afraid of that idea to be challenged by others, so you don't want to express it to others, you don't want to talk about it to others, which is limiting it even more, because the purpose that there's so many of us, that one has divided into many, is so we can be quite challenged by others to discover more of ourselves, which means that when we talk about something, it's good when we receive different feedbacks from others. Not to be offended by them, but to question them if there's some truth in them. That's how I look at the critics and feedback from people. I always question it if there's some truth to it. But sometimes it may hurt us because especially if you're an artist, the part of your brain that takes care of your sensitivity and awareness around emotions is much more active than this logical, thinking, focused part of the brain, which means that you are much more sensitive. And therefore, when something may hurt you, you will feel really, really hurt. And for some people, it may be really hard to deal with. But if we take time with that and let everything settle, the clarity will take place. Always clarity will take place. So if you want to build confidence in anything, you need to be willing to look at anything. You need to be willing to look at anything, at what you're doing, the feedback of what you're doing, but always stay true to why you're doing it. May this be the fundamental root of why you're doing it. You're not doing it for others. You're not doing it to please someone, to improve someone, to get validation from someone, to get acceptance from someone. You're doing it because you want to do it, because you felt called to do it, because you want to get better at doing it, or whatever it is. That's why you're doing it. And if you know that you're doing it only to improve yourself, or to expand yourself, or to know yourself better, everything that you hear can only help you to grow. And sure, certain opinions may hurt you. Someone may laugh at you, and that may hurt you, that may touch you a little bit, shake you a little bit. But if you stay true to why you're doing it, you will notice that you will get stable really, really fast. So it's completely okay if we lose it. It's completely okay if something shakes us a little bit. It's completely okay if something offends us. The point is that you don't react to it. You become wiser. So confidence is always working like that. We're building it on something. And the greatest thing that can happen is that you're building confidence on truth. If you're building confidence on a fake personality, on something, certain idea, like saying to yourself, I am an incredible artist, while actually you're a beginner artist, you will not feel confident. You will always feel anxious when you will work on exposing yourself. But you can look at yourself as becoming a great artist. I am becoming a great artist, which means that you have an awareness that you are not great yet, but through consistent work, you will become great. And as you are aware of that, you will notice that it's okay if you don't feel confident about it. It's completely fine. If you feel anxious when you have a speech, it's okay, because you are not good at it yet, but you're becoming, and you become good when you know that you're good, when you feel that you've done something, when you see results of your work. That's how you become confident. So confidence always comes to you as strength that emanates from your own experiences. That's confidence, and it will always give you a reflection of it through results. For someone who is confident in business, for example, that person is confident in business because that person has built up many businesses or many revenue from his or her business. And that's how that person became confident. But it's not the business or the income that makes that person confident. It's the work that that person put every single day into it. And to be so consistent with any kind of a work, we need to have the right mindset. We need to know why we're doing it, right? We need to know why we're doing it. So there needs to be a certain motivation behind that. And again, motivation needs to be supported with a great idea, not like I'm doing it because I want to gain certain credibility, or I'm doing it because I want to gain certain appreciation from others, but rather I'm doing it because I'm wondering how far can I expand myself. So if you recognize that whatever you're doing it only because of growth, you will always feel kind of motivated to do it. But motivation is flowing same as the ocean. Sometimes you're more motivated, sometimes you're less motivated, and sometimes you're not motivated at all. But if you know that you're doing it for the growth, you will do it also when you don't feel any motivation for it. You know that every single day I need to do at least one step. But then, as we know how muscles are growing, as I mentioned, through doing what's hard until it becomes easy, then through repetition, then through the right nutrition, and then through the great amount of rest. We need to know, okay, if I'm not resting myself and constantly pushing myself, I will burn out. If I don't get the right nutrition and I'm doing everything else, I will have a lack of something, and therefore most probably I will burn out as well. So look at confidence as same as going into the gym. There is a muscle that is building within you, and each muscle requires rest, each muscle requires the right nutrition, the repetition, and constant leveling up on what is hard. That's how we become confident. So when you're seeing these great confident people, they have a great path behind them. They paved an incredible path. That's why they are confident. I've made over 1,500 videos on my YouTube channel, and it made me confident about making videos because I've recognized, well, through consistent repetition, you just form a certain philosophy that works for you. And you stand behind that philosophy because you've seen that it works for you. You've seen results of it. You've recognized, well, it built something incredible in my life. I've noticed that in my life. There's many results that speak for it. So that's what just affirms why I can be confident about it. Firstly, it built up confidence. Then it reflects back to you that confidence. When confidence is fake, for example, like saying to yourself, I'm confident, I'm confident, I'm confident, but you're actually not, you will doubt in yourself. That's from where self-doubt is coming from. But self-doubt is not a bad thing. It's just saying you're not there yet. But if you're keeping up, working on it, you will get there. And results will speak for itself eventually if you don't quit. So wherever you are, at whatever point of your life you find yourself, you may be saying, I am not confident and therefore I'm not doing it. Quit saying that, shift that mindset and say, I am becoming it. Whatever it is, I am becoming it. Because there's already a version of yourself that is already there, and you can use it as an example, as someone to speak to. You can journal about your future self. You can visualize your future self. Talk with that future self. There's a power to that practice because you will recognize that you have so much wisdom within you that you just had no idea how to tap into it. But the real truth of tapping into any kind of a wisdom is to learn the key, how to tap into it. And the key is that you imagine that part of you. Like in ancient Tibetan practices, they were visualizing Buddha in front of them, because Buddha for them represents perfect expression of consciousness, perfect purity of an individual. So when they wanted to become that purity, that perfect purity of an individual, and they had no idea how, they have visualized Buddha in front of them, asking Buddha what to do, how to deal with that, how to think about it, how to feel about it. And that is the practice. And if you are devoted to it, you will recognize that that figure in front of you, that you are visualizing it, is actually giving you answers to your questions, because nothing is separated. We are all connected to everything. Everything can give us information or an answer to a question. The point is that often people don't know how to ask the right questions, and they don't know whom to ask the right questions, while you can actually find or create a vision of your future self that is already where you want to be, and then you just ask yourself what you need to embody to get there, and your future self will say to you, well, at some point I've started doing what today you think that is hard, and it became easy. But it didn't become easy from today to tomorrow. It became easy through consistent work on it. So whatever it is that you're dealing with, maybe being more truthful towards your friends, towards your family members, towards your neighbors, or you want to become more confident in your work and you're afraid of getting certain negative feedback. No, it's all part of life. Positive and negative, it's a perception, it's all part of life. What I've learned about these negative feedbacks and being upset because somebody said something negative about me, I've recognized it hurts, but it settles as well. If I give enough time to myself without distraction, it will settle. And when it settles, I see clearly what can I learn from that feedback. Should I just let it go and ignore it? Or there is actually some truth that could help me to improve my work. And that is really valuable to myself. When it comes to approaching any negative critics, we recognize, well, some people react faster than they think, and therefore they say something they didn't want to say, but they said it anyway. And usually those words are just to ignore. But sometimes there's some constructive criticism that can really help us to improve our work. And if we understand that, we stop being so offended by what's happening, and we can actually use everything as a tool for growth. So, my friends, I hope you found this helpful, valuable, and that I hope it can help you to work on your confidence. You may find yourself maybe in school, working on exams, and you feel anxious about how it will go. Well, if you put enough of practice into learning, studying, practicing, doing it at home in front of the camera, and studying books and, just practicing like an athlete, you will notice when you will go on an exam, you will be confident in it. But if you don't practice it, sure, you will feel anxious about it. So it's all about the practice, doing what is hard until it becomes easy, and then leveling up, and again doing something that's hard until it becomes easy, and leveling up. But in between, you're taking care of the right nutrition and taking care of the great amount of sleep, meditating, reflecting. Because there's a quote by Ray Dalio, who said that pain plus reflection leads to progress. And another great quote says that there are always three parts of the story. One is my story, the second one is your story, and the third part is the truth. So there's truth to everything, we just need to learn to see it. So my friends, this is it for now, and see you in the next video. Much love.